All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We are here at our drop-in Inventors Challenge check-in. If you don't know me, I am Michael from 2-Bit Circus Foundation, and I am hosting today's session. So thank you for joining us. Welcome. We have a couple of staff members here with us besides myself. We have Maya operating behind the scenes. If you have any questions, to drop into the chat. And then we also have Whit here joining us to help us along the way. Thank you, Whit, for being here with us today. I have a presentation that I'm going to share with us right now. So let me go ahead and share my screen to get us started here. You can just give me the thumbs up that you see my screen with. Awesome, I appreciate the feedback. So again, thank you for joining us with our drop-in event sponsored by AT&T and partnered with Imagination and 2-Bit Circus Foundation. What we're gonna do today, sorry about that. We have our Inventors Challenge information and important dates that you all should be aware of already up here. So this is actually a hyperlink that you can click on, and it will take us to the Inventors Challenge page where you can see any of the information that is needed for the Inventors Challenge. One of the things that I wanted to focus on today was the video submission. As we're approaching the deadline of the challenge, each participant is required to submit a video. And on the website, you can see these same details there, but I have them here for us as well, that need to be included in the video submission for it to be accepted. All right, so we could all read through there, but I'll read them out loud for us. You have to give the name of your invention, what problem it solves, what does the invention actually do, how does it work, what inspired you to create this invention, who or what does your invention help in your community, whether it's a person or the community as a whole. Did you run into any challenges? What challenges did you face and overcome along the way? So give us a breakdown of the engineering design process and the behind the scenes look that you went through while doing your invention. Share any sketches, ideas, prototypes that you may have along the way. We would like you to keep it under 3 minutes. I don't think it's a big deal if it goes over 3 minutes, but keep the judges in mind and all the videos that we have to watch, right? And so make it concise, clear, and to the point. Set it in a quiet environment. Make sure there's not a lot of background noise. If you have fans or something like that in the same room, be aware that they might not seem loud to you in person, but when the mic is there, it will pick up all of that ambient noise, and that will be in the video as well. So be cognizant of that. And then we ask you just to mention that this is made for the Inventors Challenge, that it's sponsored by imagination.org and AT&T in your video somewhere along there. All right. So these are the criteria that you must follow for the Inventors Challenge video. I thought it would be a great idea, and this is where I'm going to ask all of you to participate in today's little drop-in, is we're going to look at a couple video submissions from last year's Inventors Challenge. They're not in any particular order. They're just submissions from last year. We're going to watch the video, and looking at these criteria, we can talk about what the participant did well in the video and where some areas could be improved that they may or may not have thought of. And the whole point of this activity is to get all of you prepared for your submissions to your Inventors Challenge project. All right, so let's go ahead and move along here. The first video is the adaptive measuring sleeve. This is a 2019 submission. So here we go.
Hi, I'm Vincent.
And I'm Shelby. We are thrilled to be a part of the Inventors Challenge.
We'd like to thank AT&T and imagination.org for letting us show you our journey as inventors.
We are excited to show you the adaptive measuring sleeve. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Vincent Hub. I'm a sixth grader at AT&T Middle School.
And I am Shelly Milligan. I'm in third grade at Carlisle Elementary School. Together we invented the adaptive measuring sleeve to solve a problem that affects a lot of people every day.
When we were in the kitchen, we noticed that the fraction on measuring cup labels were off over time. This can be consistently frustrating for anyone cooking or baking in the kitchen.
Like my dad, he gets really frustrated when he is reading a recipe and can't figure out what measuring cup to use because the labels are all gone.
This problem also affects young children who don't even know how to read fractions. It affects the elderly, the visually impaired, and with disabilities, or just about anyone.
We worked hard to find a solution and decided the easiest thing to do was to create a sleeve that could slide on the handle of any measuring cup. The sleeve would need to have an engraved fraction and a pie chart. This would solve the problem because the numbers would never wear off.
Tinkercad is a software program we used to design the prototype. We came across some challenges since we didn't know how to use the program at first, but together we figured it out.
Tinkercad was my favorite. From the program, we were able to print our design with a 3D printer. When we first designed it, we made a hard plastic sleeve.
We realized the sleeve was not able to slide on the measuring cup handle. We also found out that the hard plastic wouldn't fit different shaped handles. So instead, we made it again and used a more flexible material, silicone. This time, we chose to use a hard plastic called PLA 3D printer plastic to create a mold, which we then poured silicone into. This time, it worked great and fit different size cup handles well.
Vincent and I researched using the internet, the USPTO website, and even kitchen stores to see if there was anything out there like our sleeve. We found nothing similar to our invention.
As we were researching, we did notice that the adaptive measuring sleeve solved another problem. The silicone handle makes it easier for people who have a hard time cooking a difficult measuring cup handle, like my grandma who has arthritis in her fingers.
Since you don't have to throw away your current measuring cups when the numbers wear off, and because silicone is a reusable resource, the sleeves decrease environmental waste. They are also easy to make and don't create very much waste during manufacturing. All of these things make them great for not only cooks and bakers, but also for our environment.
We are really excited about our adaptive measuring sleeve. We've gotten a lot of good feedback as we have introduced them to the public. It is obvious that anyone who cooks or bakes has been frustrated by their measuring cup labels wearing off and would benefit from our invention.
We hope you enjoyed our introduction of the adaptive measuring sleeve. Thank you.
Awesome. So that is our first video there. And I want to commend them. They did an amazing job first on their actual engineering project. The idea as a whole is really cool. And then the presentation in the video, right? So right now, I know everyone has their mic off, but I would love for you to chime in and give us some feedback on some good things or areas of improvement from our first video here. And keep in mind the criteria that we have for the video submission. I'll give it an awkward silence for a second. Cora, we have hands up. You want to go first?
Well, I was wondering, are you going to show the video that won last year?
That is a good question. Am I going to show the video that won last year? Wait, do we have that video?
I can have it before the end of this session for sure, Michael. Let me go and run it down on the imagination.org YouTube channel, and I will drop it into the Slack for you.
You are the man, sir. Thank you.
So you guys, I'm going to disappear for 30 seconds to go find it.
Good question, Cora. Thank you for that. Did you want to add anything about this video, the adaptive measuring sleeve? What did you think about it?
That's all.
That's all. All right. Thank you, Cora. I hope I don't butcher this name. Nuska, am I saying that properly?
Yeah, that was pretty good, Anushka. Yeah. I was just going to say that I think they did a good job of sharing personal anecdotes about what the problems or what their invention solved in their own life, as well as how it might be useful to a large number of people.
Definitely, definitely. I really like how they made it appropriate for all ages too. Like it could help old to young people. It didn't matter your age. It had a purpose and application, and they did a good job sharing that. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. Anybody else? Anybody else have anything to add about this video? All right, we'll keep chugging along here. Keep chugging along. Here is our next video. It is another 2019 submission called Helping Hoodie.
Hi everyone, I'm Shar, representing Project Cape for the Inventors Challenge, sponsored by Imagination.org and AT&T Aspire. And I'd like to introduce you to our friend and inspiration, Larry. Larry is a 24-year-old Swiftie who loves the color red and, as a person with autism, struggles with a condition called sensory overload. Sensory overload occurs when one or more of the body's senses experiences overstimulation from the environment. This can be caused by loud noises, bright lights, and large crowds. Those affected may shut down, lash out, or even run away. Larry's story affected our team deeply, so we set out to find a solution, and thus the Helping Hoodie was born. Our revolutionary product can be broken into two main parts. First, the lengthened hood allows for a functional and fashionable design that properly covers the head, blocking flashing overhead lights that can be distracting and/or initiate symptoms. In then comes the hug, which stands for our unique specialized compression system, built into the hoodie that simulates a weighted vest without actually utilizing any weighted tactics that profile or limit the individual. We've designed this on the current hoodie prototype using 2 motors and a fishing line with gel pads. Our team has worked on this project for months, continually testing with Larry and adapting the hoodie to him. We encountered many scheduling conflicts, roadblocks, and times where we wanted to give up. Our first prototypes were constructed of cardboard and string, due to resource and monetary constraints. Our team was also really hard to coordinate at first, with us having to eventually consolidate and refocus time and efforts, and even losing a member to time commitments. But through all the heartache, money, and time spent, nothing was more fulfilling than seeing Larry try the Helping Hoodie on for the first time, knowing that he'd be able to enjoy his passions more calmly, more comfortably, and most importantly, more independently.
All right, that was our second video, the Helping Hoodie. What are our thoughts on this? What did they do well? And how can we compare this to the first video?
I think it is very helpful that they showed that the Helping Hoodie can help more than just their community. It could help a lot more than just one community. I think that was very important for the success of the invention.
Definitely, definitely. Helping a community and the broad range is definitely an addition we're looking for in your Inventors Challenge project. Thank you, Cora. Thank you for sharing that. I'm scrolling through here. I see the hands up. Dr. Leah Haynes, what are your thoughts on the submission video?
I really enjoyed seeing how and why the students decided to make that. And it seemed like a really positive group of people working on it together.
Definitely, definitely. And in comparing and contrasting the two videos that we've seen so far, they have a different style in which they presented their video. And what's important to see is even though they're different, they both met the requirements for the submission of the video, right? They were both clear to the point. They communicated their idea, who it's helping, and they gave us a little bit of insight into the engineering process that they did to solve their problem. All right. Anybody else want to add anything? All right.
Hi everyone, I'm Shar.
Did I skip a slide there? Let's see. Nope. All right, we're good. The next one is another submission, a 2019 submission called the Toiletizer 2.
Hi, my name is Clara. I just finished 5th grade at Liberty Elementary School in Warrenton, Ohio. This is my submission video for the Inventors Challenge, brought to you by AT&T Inventor and Imagination.org. I'm the inventor of the toiletizer number 2. Did you know that 31% of men and 70% of women admit to not washing their hands after going to the bathroom? I know, it's absolutely disgusting. 80% of germs and bacteria can be transferred by touch alone. This means that if you wash your hands before going to the bathroom and someone else didn't, you're still at risk of getting sick. Germs can be transferred anywhere, like your phone, toys, even doorknobs are bacteria breathing ground. Simply washing your hands can prevent 30% of diarrhea-related sicknesses and 20% of respiratory infections. Did you also know 30 seconds of using hand sanitizer kills as many germs as 2 full minutes of washing with soap? Washing your hands after leaving the toilet reduces germs by 80%. Hand sanitizer kills 99.99% of all germs on your hands. So to help stop the spread of germs and sickness, I invented the toiletizer number 2. The toiletizer number 2 is an automatic hand sanitizer dispenser built into a toilet flush handle. It solves the problem by forcing someone to wash their hands once they flush the toilet handle. It is motion sensor activated. Once the hand is placed under the handle, hand sanitizer is dispensed. Allow me to demonstrate. I first came up with this idea several years ago. This is my original prototype. It was manually operated and could not be installed into a normal toilet. To build the toiletizer number 2, I disassembled an automatic hand soap dispenser, the kind you find in the kitchen. I carefully removed the molded soap from the circuit board. Since the circuit board could not be installed into the toilet handle, I rewired the circuit board by using wires. This allowed me to install the motion sensor where I wanted to. After pulling it to a toilet flush handle, and install both the sensor and tube for the sanitizer to come out of, I secured them both with epoxy. Once the pump and circuit board are installed inside the toilet's tank in waterproof boxes, I discovered problems occurred during the prototype design process. I drilled the holes on 2 handles, and I had 1 pump there. After showing my prototype to several people, I received feedback saying that too much hand sanitizer is being spent. To resolve this, I installed a resistor and moved the location of where the sanitizer was dispensed. I believe if mass produced, I'd be able to design the handle where all the wires and the tubing come out of the hole that's already on the toilet handle. I also believe that if mass produced, the toiletizer could be sold for roughly $35. Let's make the world a better place, one flush at a time.
Great, great, great. So what are our thoughts on this video? What do we think? What did she do well in her presentation of the video? And is there any areas of improvement that can be suggested? Scroll through here.
Well, I have some ideas and comments on that, but I don't want to jump ahead of any of the kids who want to talk. So you let me know, Michael, if I should wait.
Yeah, they were raising their hand in there. I don't see any hands raised. So go ahead, Leah.
Okay.
Oh, we have a hand raised.
Oh, please go ahead with it. Yeah.
Oh, so sorry. Also go if you'd like. I was just gonna say that I think they clearly showed their prototypes and the thinking behind how they progressed forward in their inventions and how they still to do that.
Definitely, definitely. And I think she hit the nail on the head with the marketing aspect here and the real world application. I think she did amazing with that. And Leah, what would you like to add?
I really liked that she has her original prototype there and all of the things that she felt could be improved and that she worked on it and made the improvement for the next version. I would suggest to all of the kids on who are going to submit a project that you want to test your audio carefully, because I hope it was just my computer, but I had a really hard time understanding her. I could kind of hear her voice, but I only got every third or fourth word because the speaker is so far from where she is.
Definitely, and that's something that I wanted to critique in this video as well, is there was a lot of background ambient noise that made it hard to hear. And if you're filming from something like a cell phone or a tablet, just be prepared. Those ambient noises are going to be picked up really quickly and they're not going to be isolated out. And so I don't know whether it was like an air conditioner or heater going or, you know, traffic or whatever it was, but there was a lot of white noise in the background. And that, again, the quality of the sound and video is very important in the video submission. So for all of our students that are with us today, just keep that in mind as you're filming your video, the ambient noise thing, all right? And if you film your video and you realize that the sound didn't come out how you liked and you have time, then go ahead and refilm it, right? That's the beauty of film, is you could do more than one take. You don't have to accept the first video that you make. I know some of us want to make it and get it over with, but with practice, your video quality will drastically improve.
And I think on that point, it's really important to remember that none of us really like to hear or see ourselves the first few times that we do those videos. And maybe this generation's a little more used to seeing themselves on video than ours was. But in the same way as she had different versions of her invention, you can have take number 1 through 30 and still be submitting a video. You can do as many takes as you want. It's one of the beautiful things about doing video and doing it on your phone. You can just erase what you don't like, or you can keep them and see the progression of that part of your work as well, because it's being able to create something that's really helpful to the community is important. And then being able to communicate your message is equally as important, or people won't know about what you've created.
Yes, definitely. And on that note of practicing the video over and over again, some of us might be thinking, well, we only have a couple more weeks till the video has to be in and the project has to be submitted. Well, I just received some good news that we're actually extending the deadline to February 15th, right? So you have about a month, 4 weeks left to work on that video and make any changes that you want to make into your invention. All right. So just be aware of that.
Sorry, Michael. I was going to say we did that because a class of students, a teacher reached out and said her whole class was working on presentations, but they had had some difficulties and weren't going to be able to submit until the 15th. So we will stop taking new submission or new enrollments at the appropriate time, but all of you who are enrolled and planning to submit will have an extra 2 weeks to submit.
That's great news. That way we have more participation and more inventions to look at. I'm so excited for that. Yeah. Great. Do we have any more commentary that we would like to share on the toiletizer? I just thought this was such a cool invention, as we're dealing with things like COVID and stuff like that for sanitary purposes. Something like this could take off in the near future. So a great little project. All right.
It's a bird contest inventor challenge. Sponsored imagination.org AT&T. May 2019. My name is Daira. I'm from Morelia, Mexico. I have 8 years old. My grandma Conchita has beautiful eyes, but she has to take care. The doctors say that she has a shot in the left eye. In May 7th, doctor operated her in a famous hospital in Mexico City. After the operation, it has to be in this position. This is a problem. My uncle Luis although that the device was expensive, $200. My dad and I decided to build a cheap device for my grandma. Here you can see my first sketches. We took a simple idea of my chair of my dolls. We went to the store to buy travel bill and some material to the hardware store. My dad told that the support can be made of tubes. He could to build the first prototype. But my grandpa said that it was just the position. I thought that with some holes and links it can be good. Here you can see the results. Oh yeah, our prototype works very well. It costs $10. I want to help many people in the world with this device. Thank you.
Cora, we have a hand up. Go ahead, Cora.
I was just going to say, from the toiletizer too, I think it was very helpful that she had the sign explaining the name and a little bit about it. I think that was very helpful, even if I never really got a chance to read it.
Yes, it definitely was. Yeah. So something with the billboards in the back, like I see a lot of the presentations have the old trifolds that you use. And so those are helpful when you're displaying the information. Sometimes in video though, it might be hard to see what's on them in the background there, right? So that would be a creative challenge for all of you when you're making your videos. If you do the trifold route, how can you also share so we get a better view of some of those images that you have there? And this young lady with her head support device, I think she did that with flashing them in there in the middle of the videos, the cuts. It's a good way to show us some of those closer images that we might not be able to see in the background. Thank you, Cora, for that addition. Anyone else? Anyone else?
I wanted to say, I felt like she saw a problem for someone that she loves, and she went to work to try and solve it. And I think that there's such beauty in that. And she did such a great job of explaining. And English is her second language. So this was a real effort for her to explain this to us in English. I'd love to hear her do it in Spanish as well, because I think she would be even more enthusiastic. But I really appreciated the way she presented her projects, and it felt very genuine. I think for the next group of submissions, I would love to see people move that. We're moved by people we know and love who are struggling. And I would like to broaden that out to anyone we see who's struggling with something. Can we come up with ways to help resolve and make that life easier, like the hoodie project as well?
Yeah, I think that's a very important part of engineering, is that humanitarian aspect, and solving problems for other people and helping them is truly at the heart of engineering. I have a question, and this is a question for Leah and Whit as well. This video, obviously, Spanish is probably her first language, knowing that she's from Mexico. And she submitted the video in English, but there's nothing in the rules that say the video has to be in English, correct? So for our international participants, and even in the United States, those participating, they can submit their videos in their native language. Is that correct, Whit? Yeah. So let's just keep that in mind too. If you want to do the submission in a different language, I think that would be awesome to do that. Something that could also be helpful is including subtitles. Go ahead, Whit.
Michael, if I can weigh in, YouTube offers a subtitling feature for free. And because we're so proud of the reach of this program, we expect a lot of submissions to be in some of the other languages that the kids who are participating around the world speak. We are looking at between 5,500 and 6,000 kids participating this year. We're really excited, and I know the list, and they are from all over the world. I had a conversation last week with a family in the Philippines, and then someone in Hollywood, 2 miles from where I live. So we're truly all over the place and accepting any great ideas in whatever language that they are.
That's great to hear. I would love to see more. You know, I saw a couple in 2019 in different languages, but I would love to see a lot more in your native languages from your country. That would be amazing. And that YouTube feature, with that is a tremendous help that they have that subtitles there. So keep that in mind when you're submitting your videos. Any other comments? Oops, I already switched my side. Any other comments on the head support design?
If you'll let me interrupt again, Michael, for Cora, I was able to finally find a list of the 2019 winners. We have multiple winners each year. And so we have prize packages for kids of all ages, which is one of the great things about the Inventors Challenge. But I just forwarded you a link, Michael, that has a page with most of the winner videos. It looks like a couple of the kids have taken theirs down, which is understandable. But the majority of them are available. If Cora had one in particular she'd like to see, we could share that possibly through you, Michael. Or if you just wanted to have that as a resource to reference for the rest of the event, it's available now.
Definitely. Did you share that in the chat with me through Zoom or?
Yes, I just dropped it into Slack. And if everyone likes, I could drop that link right into our chat right here.
Yeah, could you do that for me? It would be easier.
You bet.
To access right now. Great. I'm going to show us our last video that we had here. And I think this goes along the lines that Dr. Leah Haynes was bringing up earlier about trying to find things in your inventions that help people that are around you and in your community, just like the last couple projects.
Hi, my name is Caleb. I invented an easy door opener for the Inventors Challenge 2019 Imagination.org for the Imagination Foundation in partnership with AT&T Inventor. The easy door opener helps anyone, young or old, to open doors easily. For example, if you have pets, babies, if you're on fire and cannot touch the doorknob, if you don't have the ability to use your arms, if you're holding lots of things. Also, the elderly can use it if they are weak and have trouble. Here's how it works. When you step on the knob on top of the pedal, that pulls down a rod, which connects to a contraption that attaches to the doorknob, which then turns the doorknob. And as you can see, I added rubber under here to grab the doorknob, so because without it, it wouldn't work. Suppose one day that you are watching your favorite TV show and your dog Sparky went off at the 10th time of the day. Well, the easy door opener can help with that, so you don't have to give up. So suppose one day that you're playing basketball outside and you came down on your arm and you broke it like this. And then you need to help bring in the groceries, and so you can't use both of your arms. Well, the easy door opener can help with that. I used to have a product when I was a baby to help me reach the light switch. Then I thought I was doing the same thing just on a door. The products looked like this. There would be a long pole that hung down and attached to the light switch.
Then I could pull the pole up or down, and then that would turn the light switch just like this. Some problems I encountered while making the invention was that the wood snapped right there, and I had to reinforce the wood by adding more wood to it. My first idea for the invention was just to have a rod that would come down like this, that you can move with your foot to move the doorknob. But then I found my grandparents, and I thought that they could trip and fall while doing that, and that's why I added a pedal right here. Here is my prototype of my idea for the easy door opener. Others could find the easy door opener quite useful for their everyday needs. Thank you. Bye.
That was adorable.
Yes. So again, this talks about like the application to somebody close by, right? The humanitarian aspect. And yeah, I think this has a lot of real world applications, this design, and a lot of things, you know, for the handicapped, the elderly, the young children who can't turn those knobs, those old knobs. I like the application of the fire, you know, that's not something that I thought about, you know, so thinking creatively in those ways is something that is good for the Inventors Challenge, but even more so to include in your video, right? One of the things is to talk about who your invention helps in the video. And as you could provide more and more information in those 3 minutes to that, I think that could help you lead to winning. So keep that in mind to broaden the discussion on who your application is for and who it's going to help.
I really like that he talked about the inspiration for it, and also that he compared it to something he had as a very small child that helped him turn the light switches on and off. It shows his ability to see a problem and use the references from his own life to start the idea of how to solve the problem. His prototype was pretty nice to see too, because he really had to think through all of the elements of making that handle turn. The fact that he came up with the idea of putting the rubber behind it so that it had something to grab onto. I really enjoyed that video.
Definitely. And if there was one thing that I could improve a little bit is the sound. Again, if we could go back to the sound, there was a little bit of ambient noise in this one as well. And especially with the younger kids, they tend to talk lower. And so maybe having like a mic attached to them or the camera closer so that audio could be picked up a little bit clearer could be helpful, right? So keep that in mind. Or if you are a young student and you're listening to this, keep that in mind and talk louder, right? Use your outside voice and talk as loud as you can. Don't scream, but talk as loud as you can. So that way we could hear you clearly. Anything else anyone wants to add? All right, well, I think that was the last video I did want to share. I noticed we have the comments in here. Let's see, I don't know if I could access them while sharing my screen.
I wonder if the students who are with us would tell us a little bit about what they're working on.
Yes, that's good. I'm gonna stop sharing right now. So for anybody in the chat, let's talk about your invention. What are you working on?
And even if you don't, oh, there's Cora, go ahead. Or
I'm working on a sweet potato pop. I'm realizing that I froze it before I stuck the straw in. So it's kind of sweet potato mush, but I'm eating it right now.
I love that you've already tried it and that you know what you have to do next time to correct it. But I'm also really impressed that you're not letting anything go to waste.
Definitely. So what are you gonna do with that, Cora, when you get that to work?
Well, I'm thinking I might be sucking one during the video.
And what was your motivation, Cora, for making it?
Well, I was eating sweet potatoes for dinner, and I was thinking about the invention contest. Then I considered that a sweet potato pop might be a good invention.
They're very healthy for us.
They are definitely. We have Anuska raised her hand too. I hope I'm saying that right. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
You are. Yeah, so I'm a high schooler, but I'm part of I'm a team lead of Unwind, which is part of Project Invent. And we're working on reducing stress and anxiety in individuals. So we're creating what we market as a next generation stress ball to combat that. So yeah, basically our stress ball has two functions, one of which is a calm heartbeat, and then the other is a light that fades in and out for guided breathing. So that as you hold it, you can, de-stress and relax.
That sounds really cool. And what was your motivation behind doing this? I know you said stress, right?
Yeah.
Was it a local issue that you were experiencing in high school or what?
Yeah, so our founder's best friend struggled with anxiety, and we also noticed that being in high school, which is obviously a pretty stressful environment with the pressure of college and grades and social issues, a lot of people in our class were also struggling with stress. And when we talked to her, she mentioned that having an object was really comforting to hold, but that she wanted something that was more discreet and that she could kind of take with her. So we modeled our product after a river stone. And yeah, that's kind of how we got here.
I like that idea a lot. I also and have you found your classmates more stressful as a result of the distance learning, or do you think it's mostly for adults who are having trouble?
I think distance learning probably does play a big impact. I think also like during Zoom classes, it can be a really like stressful place if you're worried about participating, or yeah, if you feel like you're spending too much time on the screen. Both of those could contribute to stress. So I think one thing that we're excited about for our product is that you could hold it like while in a Zoom meeting or something like that, so that it might help comfort you there.
That sounds really cool. I'm very intrigued by, you said you wanted to do some sort of light, like shading light, right? That is used for breathing. How exactly is that working? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So we have a custom PCB. We just completed our first prototype, so we're kind of doing a little bit of user testing right now. But basically, for the heartbeat, we use a vibration motor, and then we programmed an LED to fade in and out. So basically, our product is made of silicone, so it's semi-translucent. And as you hold it and once you turn it on, if you're using that function, you'll be able to see the LED light going on and off at timed intervals. And we base that off of like light gifts, which people use to sync their breathing to kind of encourage deep breathing.
So that's a really cool thing. I'm just inspired. And you created your own PCB for this as well?
Yeah, so we used the we got the PCBs from Arduino, but we did program it ourselves, which was kind of difficult. And we did run into a lot of problems with that. We originally wanted to turn it on with a pressure sensor, but we were having some troubles with that. So we kind of went through different mechanisms to switch between the modes. So that has been a challenge for sure.
Cool. Is there any sort of like LCD readout or anything in there that shows like the mode it's in?
We currently have like 2 modes, but there isn't a way for the user to, I guess, they would recognize it by like the function emitted. So there isn't like a specific way to, I guess they would see it by the function emitted, but it is pretty sensitive. So it is something that we're working on right now, is making it clearer that when you press it, it'll jump to the right mode.
Okay. I'm really looking forward to seeing the video and the final product of it. I'm excited. That sounds really cool. I like it. Leah, did you have any other questions or?
Well, I wonder if Rudy has anything that he's thinking about making or in the process of making that he can share with us. You're muted if you are going to share, Rudy. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Just listening in today, which is okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Because any idea works. And I really like the ideas, as I said earlier, that come from seeing someone else's need. A few years ago, I went to an awards ceremony for children inventors, and a young woman who was 12 had created a medical device that she was getting a patent for. And that's something I'd like to talk about for next year's awards, is what getting a patent really means. But for her, she didn't have any medical problems, but she saw something in a movie of a child who had to test their lung capacity at the doctors. They had asthma. And she saw that and she realized that if that were her, she'd be nervous about being at the doctors, and she probably wouldn't blow as hard as maybe she could if she were having fun. So she'd invented a dart gun that hooked up to an app in the doctor's phone, and the child would blow the dart gun at a target in the wall. So now they were motivated to do the best they could because they had a target to blow at. And her medical device got a patent. So that means that she invented it, and in the patent office for the United States of America, she will always be registered as the person who invented that kind of medical test. And she'll have a revenue, she'll have the cash coming to her as a result of other people making it. And it's an introduction to what it's like to really be an inventor. And I think anyone who's going to the trouble of inventing something new wants to think about, well, what would it take for us to get a patent for what we've developed?
Definitely.
And I know that
I was going to ask Whit.
AT&T
Sorry, Leah, I apologize for talking over you. Go ahead.
it's okay. I was just going to say that the AT&T team, the people who do some of the final judging, are the people in the patent office at AT&T.
Great. That's what I was going to ask. For the competition, when we had the adult inventors in our last meeting, they had pathways that they were going to go through that. Does AT&T have any process for our young students to follow?
We're just talking about that, and the idea of bringing other partners to this competition that could help make that happen. The Lemelson Foundation is very supportive of patents, and I attended a conference with them a few years ago, and I suggested that we try to encourage high school students who invent things to get a patent. And they pushed back and said, well, what about elementary school students? And they're right. The little girl who made that medical device, when she gave her acceptance speech, she told us how she came up with the invention. And then she said, you know, people talk all the time about how children are our future. She said, we have ideas now. And she was right. Like, we can really listen to what kids are talking about and thinking about and inventing, and look at where we can apply that and how we can help them go through the patent process.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at the videos that we showed today, you know, some of those videos I think, you know, are in line, ready to go for patents. And then the sharing out that we had today as well from Cora and Anushka, those are options as well, you know, to take that to the next level. So I would love to see that. I'd love to see that as part of next year's Inventors Challenge.
Me too. Because everyone, not just kids, everyone is stressed more than usual this year, because everything that we're used to got turned upside down. And some people have an easier time dealing with stress than others, but we all need some way of calming ourselves when it gets to be too much. So I really liked Anishka's suggestion on that. And I happen to be a lover of sweet potatoes. So I'm waiting to see where Cora manages to get her sweet potato sickles out to the public. But that is a fun idea, Cora.
All right. I think that brought us full circle. You know, we got to share out with the people here, and we got to watch some submissions from last year to encourage our participants this year on ways that they can make their videos better and improve, and not to be afraid of doing it multiple times, and check that sound and the lighting, as I sit in poor lighting right now. So just make sure that you keep all of those things in mind. I see Cora unmuted, so I don't know if she wanted to add something.
Well, actually, my name's Hazel. I'm just on Mom's computer.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Welcome, Hazel.
Hazel.
And cool name.
Yeah.
Did you want to add anything else, Hazel, or that was it?
No, nothing else.
Okay, thank you. Well, at least we know your real name now.
Yeah. Thank you for letting us know.
Awesome. Do we have any housekeeping stuff that we want to share with our community? You know, I mentioned extension of the due date for the projects. Anything else?
Well, one thing that I would note is that submissions have increased greatly in the last 10 days. And it's obvious that we do have a lot of kids working on solutions. So I would encourage anyone who's watching this video that is a registrant to keep moving on your submission, but make sure that you get it in by the 15th now of February. As Dr. Haynes mentioned, the reason that we extended that deadline was because of the large amount of interest that we were able to get this year. And so that's one thing that I would note to everyone. The submission button is on the homepage at adventurschallenge.org. It takes less than 30 seconds to fill it out, and then it is on our end to be ready for judging. The other things that I would mention are that this event right here is going to be available on both Facebook and YouTube after we finish live streaming immediately at imagination.org, and also 2-Bit Circus Foundation. For those of the kids and people who are here that don't know, imagination.org has been hosting the Inventors Challenge for years now, and they are a part of 2-Bit Circus Foundation. And so we all work together to make an impact in the STEAM education world and creative play as well. But what I'd love to mention quickly for me has been the inspiration I've personally found working in the Inventors Challenge, and noticing, just building on what Dr. Haynes said earlier, that solutions can come from kids. And we have proof of it on YouTube of amazing things that have been fixed by kids at much younger ages than I personally would have imagined, even as a parent. And so I love that everyone is shooting for the moon and coming up with giant solutions. I'm excited to expand the scope of the problems we're going to address next year, and include things that are affecting people personally. But I'm very, very excited, especially by Anushka and Cora, Hazel, attending and sharing their ideas today, because that's what this is about. And that's why we're all here, and we're so excited to see what everyone's coming up with. And you guys have 1 month minus a day to perfect your idea and get it up on YouTube for us. That's my challenge.
And I'm glad,
Awesome.
Rudy, you were here. I know you've been quiet through it, but I'm happy that you were here with us. And I wanted to say one thing before we go to about trial and error, and the word that scares most of us, failure. Failure is part of the process. So don't worry. I love the fact that Hazel told us that she tried something today, forgot an element, and is going to go back and fix that. And we heard that in several of the presentations from past submissions, that the first version usually doesn't work. So don't worry. Sometimes it takes 8, 9, 10. With researchers and inventors out there in the world, they try sometimes dozens and even hundreds of times before they get it right. So don't let a few setbacks get in your way. Just get back in there, figure out what went wrong, and send us your video.
Can I interrupt quickly? We have something really cool on Imagination's Instagram account right now, where we have a bunch of videos about what inventions have been brought to the world by kids in the past. And so you can go there and find out that a kid invented the trampoline. A kid invented the popsicle, if you can believe it. We've got a whole set of videos illustrating the ages, the names, and the inventions of a bunch of kids to inspire you. So if you're looking for something like that and you want to see how large an impact you can make at your age, head over to Instagram and check out Imagination, because there are some stories there that I found inspirational. I think you will too.
And maybe you can be on it in the future.
Absolutely. That's one of the things, Inventors Challenge. If you win the Inventors Challenge, we put you on a platform so the whole world sees what you've done. And that is one of the big things that we offer. In addition to, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we do have, for our winners this year, an amazingly generous prize package that's been donated by AT&T that includes a brand new Samsung tablet for every winner in every category, in addition to a number of other really cool gifts. But that is also waiting for the winner. So again, if you didn't have motivation before, there it is.
Awesome. Thank you, Whit, for sharing all that. We did put the link in the chat for some of last year's winners, and more videos that you could see on our YouTube channel. I'm also going to put my email there for anybody. If there's any follow-up questions or you need to reach out to us, you could email me and then I'll send you in the right direction to get those answers for you. Okay. Thank you again for joining us today on our Inventors Challenge check-in sponsored by AT&T. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you all soon. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.